Ladies and gentlemen, this is the show that you've all been waiting for. It is BADCATZ Sportscast Week 4 NFL Review Show. Also tonight on the docket, we got Tyson, Fury, Deontay Wilder 3. It's not Ali Frazier 3, but it's going to be an entertaining fight because the first two before were great. One guy 6'9", one guy 6'7". Somebody and the opponent, former American heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, trying to get a belt back that Fury has more than taken from him in the first two fights. And then, of course, I call it the revenge of Bucky Dent.
Oof.
Okay? The first experience, no, it was not the first experience. When was Bruins Too Many Men on the Ice?
79.
Same year, right?
78 Red Sox.
Okay. The first experience I had that Boston sports made me cry and hide under my bed was Bucky Dent. They let us out of school early. I think the game started at
2:30.
or something like that.
Yeah.
They let us out of school early. And you got to remember this, people. This is long before we were Title Town. Okay? There were no such thing as pink hats. Okay? Nobody was going to any luxury boxes. Okay?
Better times.
You know, nobody was calling the Ace Ticket Agency. If you want to get a ticket, you have to go there and grind against the Charlestown and South Boston hustlers to fucking get it. My boy Donnie hooked me up. There was no walk in the park. You know what I mean? And it was better that way. But we'll leave that argument for another day. But certainly a revenge game today. Red Sox get some bad news. One of their offensive stalwarts, J.D. Martinez, is out for the playoffs. Apparently he tripped over second base or something crazy had happened.
Well, he's out for this game, but should they advance, hopefully.
But I thought they left him off the playoff roster.
The wild card roster.
Okay.
All right. I heard something before where he's afraid of needles, and that's why he didn't want to get a Torzol or anything like that. That's
some people are deathly afraid of it. So
I'm definitely afraid of 90-mile-an-hour fastball coming.
Absolutely. I'm definitely afraid of that.
100 miles an hour nowadays.
I'm definitely afraid of striking out in a World Series and fucking losing. You know what I mean? But hey, it goes. But so we got a lot to talk about first. But first and foremost, we're going to talk about the Red Sox Yankee rivalry. We're gonna break it down to, you know, what is a rivalry? What do you need to have a rivalry? And is it the best rivalry in American sports today? We're going to talk about that. But okay, the revenge of Bucky Dent, Birdie. Yeah, we've been waiting a long time. One game for all the marbles to get in the playoff thing. I don't know why these teams are celebrating with champagne. I thought that was some corny ass shit.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah, I think it was something.
Who are you talking about?
It cheapens it. Yeah.
who was it? The Giants, I think.
Yeah, but the Giants won the division. They should
that's
celebrate.
different.
Yeah. There was something.
I don't know, like the need for you want to drink a beer, you want to have champagne. The goggle thing is I'm so done with the goggle thing. It's so played out.
Who was the first one to do that?
Poppy.
Can we look that
I
up?
think it was Poppy.
No, the first person in sports to associate champagne with winning the championship in the locker room. Because ever since I've been a kid,
Red with cigars
was
champagne,
one of them.
I don't know.
But maybe we can look that at the
Yeah, I'll check into it.
Poppy had the
I
goggles.
tracked down the Gatorade thing. It was a giant who put the Gatorade thing on both Parcells. See if we can track that down. Okay, Ralph. Okay. It's for all the marbles. All them New York City meatheads and Tri-Borough meatheads are coming up here. They're going to try to take over. Okay. The Yankee fan base is hungry. Seems like the Red Sox fan base has their belly full. The Yankees had high expectations going into this year. The Red Sox didn't have such expectations. I think the Red Sox are playing with house money. I don't think that, you know, they were a talented enough team, roster player by player to get there, but they did. And they're playing a game at home. And I think it's a testament to Cora. And for all their flaws and all of their weaknesses and the roller coaster ride that they took us on, this team has endeared itself to me a little bit.
Even
right?
the trade deadline garbage where they were
what the-
trashing Hein Bloom.
Blows my mind, yeah.
And he got the best player. They wanted Rizzo. They wanted the other lefty, Gallo.
Gallo,
He got
yeah.
Schwarber. Like, what
Stud.
a stud.
Yeah, stud.
Absolute stud. He better find a way to resign that guy.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I would have liked to have get him a relief pitcher at the trade deadline. Would that have been impossible to do?
Well, the problem was you had Bonds pitching like he was Mariano Rivera for the first half of the year, and they figured they got a guy that's going to be a lockdown closer, and they didn't realize this guy was going to fall apart. And that was their mindset.
was he a sticky tack guy? Is he one of the guys that fell apart because of the sticky tack?
I don't know what happened there.
He was lights out at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden,
season.
It's interesting. Now, this rivalry getting a lot of attention. I saw an image of the Green Monster and the highlight screen at the Red Sox right after 1978 when it said save Gossage, lost Torres, win Guidry, save Gossage. I remember Kyle Yastrzemski making a final out.
popped up, right?
Popped up on first base
Kyle
line.
Yastrzemski played in 2 Game 7s to be a world champion, and his quote was, you can look this up, that the 78 playoff game with the Yankees was the most important game he played in his career.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy.
You can,
That's crazy.
So I did find
that
it.
game.
What's up, Rouse?
It was in Milwaukee Braves won the World Series in 1957, but the spraying of the beverage didn't come into tradition until the 1960s. So the earliest team I could find was the Braves in the 60s.
There you go, Rouse. There you go. You run that with the quickness. That's by the way, this is the best talk radio head / producer under 21. And I'm going to say New England's a wrap.
Thank you.
We're ready to go. If this was Boxing Rally, we'd be on Showtime, brother.
Thank you.
Believe me.
Appreciate it.
And we got big news. We're hitting Comic-Con.
Woo!
We're Comic-Con. We're going to tear that up. Okay. Is the Red Sox Yankees the biggest rivalry in American sports? And if not, tell me, Riles. Tell me. I know you're not a baseball guy. Tell me what is.
Well,
Maybe like 20 years ago, maybe
there
with
you
Poppy
go.
and all them when the fights were breaking out.
I would
tell you
say
something.
definitely 20 years
20
ago.
years ago, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
In college.
Yeah.
That's all we thought
of
about.
course,
Was
yeah.
the Red Sox Yankees.
But-
2002 to 2004 were the most consuming years for local sports because of the Red Sox in my entire life.
I agreed.
You know where I think they lost it? I think they lost it when the Colts Patriots, Manning Brady started to happen. I think that's when it started. The Red Sox and Yankees started to lose their biggest
I'll
rivalry in
get to
sports
that.
because of the Brady Manning thing. That's not the biggest now because Manning doesn't play.
What is the
but
biggest right now?
That is tough. I mean,
It's easy. It's the Red Sox Yankees, Ralph.
no, not big. I don't think baseball's big enough for that right now.
I'm with him on this one.
I think I want to say maybe Browns. No. Ravens and Steelers maybe, or Steelers and Bengals.
In sports, you're gonna throw the Bengals
Because of how much like craziness has happened.
Carolina, Duke, Alabama, Auburn. Like
Alabama Auburn's a really good one.
I mean that.
There's some college ones that are dead fucking serious.
Yeah.
There's some dead serious.
I mean,
that Ravens thing that he has, I think the NFL spent some money trying to do that. And let me tell you something, there's some very unique personalities.
That's what I was gonna say. When they got hurt with
I'm not
Von.
going to be as dismissive as that as others were, but the best. But so all right. So let me ask you a question, and I get to this all the time. What do you need to make a rivalry? Is geography important?
Always.
I say always, right?
Always.
Okay. All right.
I think that's
History's
number one.
History's important, right?
I wouldn't say that's number one.
All right. Well, we can rank them with that.
right.
Is history important?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Success is important to a rivalry, right?
For what though?
For both teams.
For both teams.
Both teams
That's what I'm
have
talking
to
about.
be-
Or it could be one beating up the other for so
Sure,
long,
all right,
and then the underdog finally comes
Is
through.
violence and fan violence part of a rivalry?
1,000%.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Okay. And epic moments, right?
Yep.
Have to have it.
Okay. I think the Red Sox check all the boxes there.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, right there.
Not
what,
lately,
what is? Let's go to you, Riley, and then we'll go to Jimmy. Then we'll go to thing. What is the most important thing in a rivalry?
For me, it's competition. I feel like if competition's not there, then it's not a rivalry. It's just one team beating on the other team,
Sure.
and the team that's losing the whole time just wants to make it a rivalry to seem relevant, but they're not. It has to be both teams competitively going against each other. And that's what was so good for me with the Red Sox and Yankees a long time ago, because both teams were really good at that time. They both had powerhouse players, big home run hitters, good pitchers.
Yankee fans would be a little dismissed because it was the titles, right?
Yeah. So as a college kid in upstate New York in 1999, when that was the Pedro year, when they beat us 4-1, okay? Let me tell you, being on the like you said, it's got to be the other team's got to have some leg to stand on.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. Okay,
Yeah.
but I was still out there. We were talking shit. There was
you
back
were.
and forth. There was all of that stuff, and then
I almost killed my college roommates when Alonzo Mourning made a desperate 3-pointer to the fucking things. I whipped the fucking chair out of him and threw him out of the fucking.
Hey, Celtics Lakers, that's another one.
Let me tell you something. If you were a Boston sports fan and you were stranded like I was in North Carolina, or you're stranded upstate New York, you don't understand how you fucking go through it.
The one thing off that list I think you
Jimmy,
didn't
did they
have
fucking
on
taught you in college? I mean, you're upstate New York, right?
I'm still getting
you go
tortured.
fucking through it.
I still get tortured from
Boston,
that.
Boston. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. The one thing I left off, tell me.
Opportunity.
Okay, tell me.
Because you got to have these two teams in a big moment like tonight play against each other. And that's one thing the wild card brought to baseball was that now you got Red Sox Yankees in the playoffs.
They said that they kept 12 markets involved to the very end.
And that's what you need.
That's what you want.
That's what you need.
Especially with a sport that is struggling, like Riley talked about in baseball. Birdie, rivalry, what's most important, my brother?
One point on there that with the hatred for each other, the two teams.
Sure.
When
I probably could have put that in violence, but you're right.
When Jerry Remy first came to the Red Sox, he had a friend on the Yankees. I don't know who it was that played with him in California, and he went over to the dugout and went over to fraternize with him. Carlton Fisk grabbed him, pulled him aside. And you see this nowadays? You see these guys hugging after. Carlton Fisk grabbed Jerry Remy, who was new to the Red Sox at the time, and told him, "We don't talk to them." Didn't even acknowledge.
I came home from fucking college, right? I saw fucking Driffy Bathel, the River Bevan players fucking hugging one another before the fucking game. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I played on softball teams and we don't like fraternizing with the other guys. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Crazy.
Me too. Yeah.
It's a different world nowadays.
And that's what, and I think that's what the rivalry, Red Sox Yankee rivalry, is missing. So a couple years ago, they had Joe Kelly and that little skirmish they got.
That was awesome.
It kind of it sparked it back up a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of grab assing going on. I mean, you know, if there's no hatred, you can't make it up. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
You can't fake hatred.
Sure.
And that was what's so cool back then, because the fights that they had with the Red Sox and Yankees in 2000 in the mid 2000s was awesome.
Time out right now.
The old guy's gonna play their card now. Hold on. Hey, we gotta let the old guys. We gotta let the old guys speak now.
1978 was, put it this way, Poppy. I mean, A-Rod, Varitek, Zimmer getting tossed, Poppy with the guys around. That was a great sports fight for today's era. Okay, no doubt about it. However, the fighting that took place between the Yankees and the Red Sox late at night in the Bronx, where bottles were being thrown on the field, guys had season-ending injuries because of those fights.
Bill Lee, right?
Bill Lee. Mickey Rivers got sucked in by Bill Lee. Our second-best pitcher went down.
Munson
Fisk were fucking going at it.
Listen, that was also in an era when you got Bruins players climbing up in the stands
can you imagine that?
Shoes on. Yeah, I can't imagine, because they just did the
Palace in the Palace.
That was
pussy fest.
That was crazy.
Was a pussy fest.
I don't know about pussy fest. That one dude, Jermaine O'Neal, slipped. He would have ended that guy's life.
That was a bad one.
Steven Jackson.
That was a bad one.
Listen,
that was the Artest thing, right?
Are we going to run into copyright problems if we call up the Rangers Bruins fight right now? Listen, let me tell you something.
You can get that on. You can get.
Yeah, I know, but can we show it?
No, I don't think so, because because even the NFL says like any pictures or videos is prohibited against our thing. So you can't even technically you can't even post it on Facebook. Like if you posted a picture of the
there's got to be a bank that is sanctioned by the sports, like music, that you can pay a fee for to go in and grab.
Like a Napster kind of thing.
Go
that wasn't legal.
Go in and grab it. But the Bruins kick down the glass behind them.
Skates.
We're in skates.
Yeah.
That's the most impressive thing about the whole thing.
We're beating them up with skates, beating them up with shoes. We're knocking guys out.
Mike Milbury.
We're fucking whipping women around like it was a fucking holiday. It was fucking nuts.
See, what the Bruins players... The crowd scattered when they went.
Oh, yeah.
If the crowd had done the opposite and had come down, would have been a much bigger story, I feel like.
But the Bruins were feared back then. The Big Bad Bruins is coming off the Big Bad Bruin era. And I'll tell you what, right now, somebody just got spit on and they threw a beer and they cut one of the teammates or something like that.
There was a soccer game recently where the guy one of the players went into the stands to challenge, and some of the fans came on. I don't know how they stopped.
Yeah, I don't know
I forget where it was, but
Yeah.
It was in France. It was it was Marseille and Nice, I believe
Yes,
it was.
it was, yes,
and
yes.
it was Dimitri Payet, who he was. I don't really like him because he was the one that got Ronaldo hurt in the Euro.
Yeah, he was.
So he
was also the best player on the field for them that day.
Yeah, he was. But it was they were like throwing stuff, and then he kicked it, like he picked the ball up and punted it at the fans.
Yeah.
So the fans started running onto the field, and there was like 5 or 6 fans on the field. It's just nuts.
Usually Europe and what happens is a predicator to what comes, whether it's fashion or movies or music. The nationalist movements, Brexit,
I hate that.
What's happening in Germany and all these places, like European soccer is going to be on the front wave of that nationalistic, anti-immigrant, little bit of tinge of white hate, maybe, right? Or white frustration.
There used to be a rule not all that long ago, I want to say mid-'90s, where you were only allowed to have 3 foreign players on your team in Europe.
That's how it is in basketball with my brother. When my brother played for probably the most violent rivalry in European soccer. That is Galatasaray versus Fenerbahce.
Yep.
Yeah.
My brother was at a soccer game when 19 people were stabbed to death.
That's crazy.
And his basketball game was 2 days later, and they had to stop the basketball game, and they had to usher him down into the cellar, protected because it lingered on.
Oh, yeah.
That Fenerbahce Galatasaray is crazy.
Yep.
And he got good money. He got good money lived there. He actually stayed in a hotel where Jackie Kennedy and
Jackie O.
And the president went on their honeymoon.
Wow.
Okay, so the little.
You gotta have sex on those sheets, right? Like,
I
you just
would.
have to.
I
I
would.
mean, like,
I try to have sex on every fucking sheet in
you
the
gotta
hotel.
have you gotta have sheets. You gotta have sex on sheets anyway. But like, especially those.
Put some sheets on the washer and dryer and the counter, and we got it all. But so tonight is a great night for baseball. It'll be a great night for baseball tomorrow night with the Dodgers and everything because the right teams are there, right?
You got the right teams.
The fan base, the Dodgers and the Giants. That's the West Coast locked up. Then you got the Cardinals.
Cardinals is
they're huge in the Midwest. You get the Red Sox Yankees still in it. I'm still scratching my head while Tampa Bay can spend $20 million and beat the New York Yankees up all regular season.
But that's the thing. People will tune in to watch this game. If it's Game 5 of, say, like Yankees and Rays or Red Sox and Rays, it just doesn't play like this one plays tonight.
But that's one thing I think baseball needs to look into is the one-off games. Like, I love the wild card because there's one game and done. Like, you don't got to be invested for 7 games of baseball. You know what I mean?
It's 162 games, and then for one game, and it could be just because your pitcher's better than my pitcher, but our team's better. Our rotation's better. There's a fine line with that.
You have to have the
That's
wild
fine.
card because the Dodgers won 105 games this year. Can you imagine if this was back in the 70s? You're not playing any playoffs.
No, I'm okay with the wild card.
We talk about Michael Jordan stopping how many people from getting rings. How many fucking Yankee teams stopped great Red Sox teams from getting it?
Many years.
Because they finished 2 or 3 games behind. Back then, the wild card.
No, I'm fine with the wild card.
I know you like the wild card.
I'm saying, like, if the Red Sox go to play the Rays, I think that should be one game. That's it. I don't like the 7-game series in baseball because it's so long. I get it. It's 162 games. You need to play it out because they've played so many games. You can't do one-offs. But I think baseball would benefit and they would have a lot more viewers if every game was a one-off because you don't have to be invested like, oh, it's game 3. Oh, now it's game 6. You get where I'm coming from for that point?
If you're going to do that, you're going to have more teams in the
playoffs. Your generation is used to getting things quickly.
The ADHD generation, right?
Yeah. But I understand this.
The NFL, the biggest sporting company is one and done, and they're kings in that USA.
There's merit to that.
But they expanded it.
But the Reds, but the way they used to advertise baseball was the drama.
Of
the potential game 7.
Who was it?
But listen to me, this country's not slowing down, brother. Facebook was down for fucking 8 hours. I was on fucking vacation. I was fucking loving it. Okay? But people are freaking. I mean,
people are freaking out. Yeah,
it's Quibi. It's a 10-minute video. It's silence. I'm sitting with what's his face today, Zach.
Exactly.
And he's like, Mike, the 1 to 3 minute videos are getting thousands of views. The show's getting hundreds of views. We got to focus more on getting the short, quick takes that we've been doing on there. It's just the way.
I think it's something to think about for the MLB. Maybe I don't know if it's to think about it, but I definitely think it would definitely bring in a lot more people because it's
How
one
about
and done.
this? I would go for a 1 and done 8-team wild card tournament.
Yeah, you'd have to have more teams involved if you're going to do that.
And give the division winners maybe a week off.
Couple by but then you get cold.
Or three game series. That's it. Like, just shorten it. 7's a lot for baseball. I don't know.
3 in the wild card. That'd be all right with that.
No, but 3 for everything.
They're talking about going to a 2 out of 3 format for this wild card next year already.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. See, just keep it one and done for the wild card, and I mean, they're probably more than likely going to keep 7 games.
And count the views.
Who was it who said the best 2 words in sports? Game 7. I don't know. I forget who said that.
But Game 7 in baseball is so different than basketball because baseball is struggling. Like, it's so hard to get viewers. And
I'll tell you what, though, and maybe this is me. In playoff baseball, when you get to that 7th, 8th inning of every freaking pitch, is like you're just. I remember just being like,
Did you play baseball as a kid, Riley?
A little bit, like 2 years.
Have you experienced the Red Sox World Series like when you were old enough to enjoy it?
Yeah, 100%.
A couple years ago.
The last one a couple years ago, I really liked that team, and I can sit down and watch a 7-game series, like, and I'll enjoy the games.
Sure.
But I'm just saying most people can't. Like that last baseball team, the last Red Sox team, I love Mookie Betts, like probably my favorite player ever. Like that whole team, top to bottom. I went to the parade, was in front row line, caught a couple like nips from the players who were throwing it out. Like that team was awesome. The 2013 team, love that team with Johnny Gomes, freaking all those guys. Love them.
Is he still shirtless roaming Lansdowne Street for
pretty much? Yeah, pretty much.
That might be. I mean, this is a different topic, but if we ranked like the 20 champion or whatever, how many championships over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. That 2013 Red Sox might be at the back of the list.
What was their nickname?
No way. That team was awesome.
But I'm saying, like, of all the championships from the last 20 years in Boston, if we did a show,
listen, I'm going to get massive hate for this. I'm going to get massive hate for this, but it might be.
Since when do you worry about that?
No, I know.
The marathon bombing kind of made that.
No, but all right. So you want to do one of the worst, and this sounds crazy, but the Patriots won against the Panthers because. Not just because I'm not a Patriots fan, because I think the Patriots one, the first one was better than the Panthers one. It's just the team that they beat, that Panthers team was like, and
that was the best.
That game was great.
That might have been the best game out of all of them.
That game was great. That game was great, but I think that 2013 one had such a great story.
Shockey played for the Panthers too, right? I think.
Nah, not back then. Not back then.
If he was on
it Shockey Campbell? The tight end fucking killed us too. And that motherfucker badass
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's but like after that, what did the Panthers do?
He's getting in the Hall of Fame, right? I would think.
I don't know. They went
to the
close.
playoffs. They went to the playoffs a couple times.
No, it's close though, because Rod Smith has 2 rings back to back. Got a massive catch against the Falcons.
Wide receivers don't get in.
Exactly in the Super Bowl, and he can't even get in.
He's the what? Art Monk in? He was the leading receiver.
Art Monk did get in.
He did get in.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Terrell Owens took like how many years to get in, and he's like second in pass yards.
Was fuck you to him because you act like an asshole.
Yeah, but that's not what it should be.
Worse.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yes. Thank you.
Fucking worse.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because of people in suits.
Thank you.
I'm at the Drift Hall of Fame and like I'm nominating guys and they're like, I'm like, what is this, like a fucking morality contest?
Thank you.
How long did
this is what happens
on the field.
This is what happens from here to here.
Yep.
You know, Ty Cobb was a fucking racist, scumbag, drunk, abusive, pistol-packing fucking bum. Okay? Did he belong in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely.
Pete Rose?
I mean, Pete Rose was like, you know.
Yeah, well, Pete should be in there.
He should be in there, but he should be in there before he does. But I don't think he should have been in there. He did something egregious.
When he croaks,
oh, he's going in.
I said, fuck you. I wouldn't put it in my will.
Yes, I agree.
No way.
I agree.
No, you're gonna act like the compassionate, caring.
No, but you can't be like this is the you know, it's not a morality contest and then leave Pete Rose off that list. He's the top of that list.
Sure, no, but what
on the field there was no one better.
Yeah, well, I think Mary
all-time hits leader. All-time hits leader.
Yeah, I hear you. No, you're right, but here's what he did though. He did bet on baseball.
That's where I draw the line. You know what I mean?
Do you know that they found his World Series ring in Somerset? He was bet with a forever bookie, and you know where the calls were going through? That's fucking awesome. Cosmo's Pizza.
I love
Who
stories.
remembers Cosmo? Am I lying? Am I fucking lying?
I love stories like that.
Cosmo's Pizza. Ask your father about it. You remember Cosmo's?
In the city,
it was like a Portuguese hook to pizza. The pizza did not taste like
Mesa, so it's like Mesa now?
No, different.
One
It was
time,
smaller. Yeah, it was
good.
It was a place where my father grew up on the files from below the hill, Columbia Street. We went there.
So, what about Jim Rice? How long did it take them to put him in the?
See, that's another fucking thing. Who's the asshole that didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
Oh yeah,
exactly. Come on, man.
How about fucking Gordon Eads?
But there are
Doesn't
so
vote for
many.
Pedro.
Oh, really? I didn't
You know that?
No, I did not know
That's
that.
so dumb.
Try to find out the Boston sports writer who did not vote for Pedro.
But even Pedro, that MVP year, they left him off because he was a pitcher. That fucking bothered me so much.
Yeah,
That
come on,
bothered me.
bro.
So the
Come on.
Pete Rose thing, right? There's a little backstory also behind this reason why he's not in there. If you remember, I believe Faye Vincent was the commissioner at the time. And, I'm sorry, Bob Giamatti was the commissioner.
Yeah, they told him stay out of Cooperstown.
And the stress of Bob Giamatti, that whole
Killed
ordeal
him.
happened what?
Yeah,
So I think that's part of the reason
and
why.
also they told him stay away from Cooperstown on Hall of Fame weekend. But that was his biggest money maker for autographs.
Yeah, 'cause he
would
used to
have
go to
a line
American
around-
Auto
he would have
Auction.
a lot of the block, and guys were getting in the Hall of Fame. Listen to me. You know what Pete Rose should have done? Should have went on Oprah's couch, cried, confessed, and he would have been in Hall of Fame the next year.
Is it crazy that I respect the fact that he did the exact opposite of what everybody wanted him to do? You know,
You know what's crazy about him? He was from Cincinnati,
Yeah, no.
which is fucking nuts.
Yeah. You know what the streets
And
are?
was an underachiever his whole life.
He sits at a casino now every day. I forget what casino it is, and he signs like
Yeah, he's
$15
like
autographs or something.
not a greeter, but he does hospitality type thing.
yeah.
And he's getting paid by the casino.
What do you got for me, Rouse?
I believe his name is Paul Hoynes. I don't know how to say it.
H-O-Y-N-E-S.
Yeah, he wrote a thing says why I didn't vote for Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez. And
What was his fucking? Was he a Boston sports writer?
I'm not sure that I can get into it, but I have to read it.
I think it was Gordon Eads was the one. I'm not sure about that.
Last time I was here, we were talking about weathermen, right? And how they get it wrong all the time.
sure.
Now, what they should do is something like this. So you don't vote for Pedro Martinez for the Hall of Fame.
you
You're gone. You're gone.
Absolutely, yeah.
See you later.
Well, same thing
See you
with
later.
Jeter. I mean,
In
It's a no-brainer.
Do you know that Tom Seaver, 99.9, Ken Griffey Jr., 99.9,
Well, they always did one.
Mariano Rivera
Makes no sense.
is unanimous. But like not even Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron or Willie Mays. Guys voted against them too.
Yeah.
Like what other place in the
it's
world can you be
ridiculous.
that incompetent in your job? Can you look up the percentage of Babe Ruth's Hall of Fame vote, Hank Aaron's?
It's because people's
and
feelings are hurt.
and Joe DiMaggio.
yeah, I don't believe nobody's ever been 100%,
No,
right?
no,
No.
he
They've
was
never
the
had
first
nobody
one, Rivera.
100%.
And it's all
Yeah.
because of these guys. They didn't answer a question, or they treated them like shit, and their feelings
Yeah,
get
it's
hurt.
how
They
the
got stuffed
media
in
is-
lockers when they were in high school. Now they're getting stuffed in literal lockers now,
The
and they don't
scales
vote
of
for that.
justice has a blindfold, brother. Listen to me.
the Hall of Fame.
You have to fucking. There's got to be some type of code, man. Right? What movie is that from?
Wow, look at this. Babe Ruth was 95.13% Hall of Fame vote.
Yeah, to like 4 Cy Youngs and like 800 home runs.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
So 5% of the voting public didn't vote for him. What was Joe DiMaggio?
I'll have to look that one up right now. Hold on.
And I believe like Ted Williams is the one who got all the Negro League players into the Hall of Fame. He advocated for them. He advocated for Shoeless Joe Johnson.
Satchel Paige.
To get a pardon.
Ted Williams was the one who said that.
I don't know how you can throw a World Series when you hit 362.
Joe DiMaggio was 88.84%.
So 10% of the vote didn't vote for Joe DiMaggio. A nation turns its lonely eyes to you. That's a punk motherfucker who has that job.
Ted Williams was 93%.
93%.
So 7% didn't vote for him.
Yeah, war hero.
Mickey
fucking
Mantle.
left. How do you?
There should be jail
How
time.
do you leave Ted Williams,
Jail
Babe
time.
Ruth, out of the Hall of Fame? Are you kidding me?
That's jail time.
You should be tarred and feathered in the square of your hometown and say with a big freaking fat hater sign stapled to your ass.
Well, we
Those
get to
guys-
throw like fruit at him or something.
Yeah.
They have a lifetime vote till you die, too, I
That's
believe,
crazy.
right?
Mickey Mantle was 42% for Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because they
did
all
he
saw
get in?
him.
I believe so, but it says voting
he's in Hall of
percentages was
Fame.
42. So I mean,
Nah, Mickey.
probably isn't.
He was a big drinker. Like they showed, like a lot of the reporters were mad at him because he could have been so much better than he say he should have been.
But they were partying when you get him laid with him
But
too.
that's ridiculous. How do you not vote for
crazy.
Mickey?
How about Roger Maris? What was his total?
I have to look that one
Or Hamid Killebrew? This is nuts. This is nuts. Okay, we're gonna switch gears to the National Football League Week 4. The Brady Circus has left town, and it ain't never coming back. Thank God, because I had Brady fatigue. You know, I watched the game by myself. I was talking to the TV.
Maris is not in the Hall of Fame.
Roger Maris is not in the Hall of Fame, huh?
No.
Well, let's talk about the Brady game, the circus that left town. A lot of body language and stuff left to be interpreted. It seems like Brady and Belichick made their peace, right? The 20-minute visit in the locker room, right?
I think a lot of that was overblown to begin with.
See, I don't.
So they said that Belichick refused to meet with Brady in the book that just came out.
Refused to fly home. Okay. Refused to meet him face to face because he was on vacation.
Brady was on the Howard Stern show a couple days after signing with the Buccaneers and said he found out on a Monday, 9:30, 10 o'clock, late at night on a Monday, and he's the one who called Belichick. So right there.
One thing you have to know about professional athletes, when they're asked to talk about one another, they always lie. That's one thing you have to really...
But that was Brady... opening that up. They didn't ask him about it.
All right, but have you really researched that book and know that Belichick had the deal done to trade Brady in 2016 to the 49ers?
Again, that's it.
And that was the beginning of the end of their relationship, right, Brady? You want to talk about that for a second?
The book's coming out, I believe, on the 12th.
Because they're going to leave tidbits. I know how books go. My family's got
this week.
Two best-selling books. My brother has 2 best-selling books. They don't let all of it out right away. They hold a couple of big secrets back. Yeah. They'll leak this, they'll leak that, they'll leak this, they'll leak that. But they're going to hold on to a lot of the meat and potatoes.
Yes.
And we'll see. Now, how true is it? That's a whole other story.
Now we're talking. Now, especially coming from that ESPN mouthpiece.
But I know this, though, right? I know this. Walt Disney, as he listens as an ESPN product, who's the publishing house for this?
Wickersham.
But who's the publisher house? Who's going to take liability and culpability if this book is factually inaccurate? Because if it's factually inaccurate...
What's it called again, the book?
What's it called? Rather to be feared.
Yeah.
Do you think Belichick was feared? I don't.
Right, the way he operates?
By who?
What do you mean was?
Yeah,
he still is. He's the greatest coach of all time.
He coaches as a tyrant.
Okay,
the greatest coach of all time.
So let me spin something back.
You can just listen to Mac Jones and see it.
We're going to do this right now. If Tom, all right. So the counterpunch to Riley saying he's the best of all time is saying okay, but he is. What is his record without Brady?
62, and as of the loss this time, 75.
So how do you explain being 8 games under 500?
13 games under 500.
13 games under 500, and still call him the greatest of all time without Tom Brady.
So do we have the stats of Vince Lombardi without Bart Starr? Do we have Bill Walsh's without Joe Montana?
That's why it's talking great. Okay.
You know, Joe Montana without Bill Walsh without Joe Montana, I should say.
How much Brady made better? How much Belichick made Brady better with the discipline?
There's no denying Brady came
legacy,
in and helped him out. Like there's no denying that. Yeah. But the two together.
Who do you think is more influential than?
All right, so somebody asked me that question the other day. I would say the first 3 was on Bill.
Yeah.
The last 3, obviously Brady.
Yeah.
Now, I think you can go back to 07, and I think Bill cost us that one. Not kicking a 49-yard field goal on a 4th and 13 play.
Suspended Malcolm Butler.
Okay, the Malcolm Butler one. You can again, who knows what happened there?
All we need is one tackle and one third down tackle. We get off the field.
So you could say Bill cost us that one. So now I think Brady's ultimately more responsible because he just goes down his first year with a. We were making fun of Arians the other night. He's not even plugged in. He's talking to nobody in that thing. Brady's running that team as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and he does that, and he goes down there first year and wins. So right there, you got to give the edge to Brady over Belichick.
I agree.
However, so how about the 28-3 comeback, which looks fantastic on Brady, but for the whole end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they don't score a single point anymore. And Belichick's known as the mastermind on the defense. When they scored, granted, they did score a lot of points, but you do have to stop them at some point. And I'm not saying that Brady didn't do anything. Obviously, he did with 23 comeback. But that is so overlooked. 100%. The way that they turned that game around and that defense looked so much better in the second half.
Birdie.
Same thing with the Seahawks as well.
As far as the disconnect between the two.
Address Riley's point right there about should the defense doesn't get talked about not letting them score.
Well, Atlanta had something to do with that too by some of the decisions they made, but
the enormity of the moment crushed the Falcons. Soon as the possibility of Tom Brady leading this crazy comeback even became
you can see it on
a possibility.
Even when the owner came on the sidelines, that one he was just like, He came down the sidelines all happy.
I said, look at
and
that
then they showed-
asshole on the sideline. Get the fuck out of there, out the blank. Go ahead.
Nobody's going to question Belichick's legacy as far as the 20-year run. That's never going to probably be matched. We're never going to see nothing like that. Like I've told you before, we talked before. What happens moving forward with Belichick if he flops from here on forward and he doesn't make the playoffs for 2-3 years and then he continues to have a losing record and he's gotten everything he wants in free agency this year?
I'm not saying it's right.
A bad look for Belichick.
With the optic with
Who are the greatest coaches in NFL history?
Belichick is the greatest coach.
No, just like who is considered the top?
Lombardi.
Okay.
Belichick's the first name.
He had Bart Starr, but it was more of a running game.
But he had Paul Horning, which was the golden boy.
How about a guy by the name of Joe Gibbs who won 3 different
There you
Super
go.
Bowls
There
with
you
3
go.
different
3
quarterbacks that
So-
people forget about?
And 1,000%. 1,000%. Right?
Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
Okay.
West Coast offense.
A lot of people
Way ahead of his time.
Don Shula.
Way ahead of his time.
Only undefeated team in history was Shula.
But Shula didn't win with the greatest.
Cool.
Marino's the best player in sports history. Probably
So
never
you
to get
can
a
look
ring.
at can look at Shula with his resume with the undefeated team
Most
and
wins
the
ever.
Greasy era. Then you got to go look at him without that undefeated team and that 2 Super Bowls. What he did later on.
Still has most wins of
Same
all
way
time,
you're going to
though.
look at Belichick, the 20 years with Brady, and moving forward, you're going to separate what he's going to do later on.
That Miami Dolphins undefeated team, that team fucking pisses me off than no other team. They beat 2 teams with a winning record at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They played a 14-game schedule.
yeah.
Get the... I know
And-
they
and
they
still-
did do it with a backup
Hey,
quarterback, though.
You know what I like? They love being undefeated as
Yeah.
old man.
Oh,
Went back to
They're
back.
always talking shit.
You guys,
They lost the next year, I thought.
No, they won Super
Yeah.
Bowl. They lost the game, but they went back to back winning the championship. They won 2 years in a row.
That fucking team pisses me off
there's,
more
there's
than
no,
any
there's,
other
you
team.
can't look up. You have to look up only
all-
undefeated team in NFL history, and that one's going to come up. So it makes sense why I talk about it a lot because
Greasy
No,
did
'cause
go
that's
out.
it.
that's it.
Greasy
No one's
went
done
down
it.
and it was Earl Morrall. They did do it with a backup quarterback
Yeah, they
for part of
did.
the
They
season
did,
too.
yeah.
But they beat 2 teams. Like a couple years ago, when they were talking
There was
about
a big
the Patriots
controversy
schedule.
when they were going to play a quarterback because a lot of people
back
wanted
from an
Morrow
injury,
to.
yeah.
Do you guys think there's ever going to be another undefeated team completely?
Now with 17
completely.
games.
No.
Now with 17
Not
games.
with the way that the league's going,
Free
super soft on
agency's gonna make
defense.
it hard, yeah.
A monster offense comes back. Like say Mahomes gets a couple weapons in the draft, and he gets like
Just talk
a
to me in a
Tyreek
couple
Hill
years
2.0.
when Mac Jones keeps getting better. Then we'll say he's
I don't know, but
Listen.
it's possible.
I watched Pat Mahomes, and we got to stay structured a little bit, but that's a bad dude.
Yeah.
No, okay. So, all right, let's Mac Jones. I think if anybody was a winner that night, he was the winner with the optics. Okay, 19 consecutive things, broke Brady's record. All of that going on. I have a question. Mac Jones versus the Saints, and Mac Jones versus the Patriots. There's 2 things that stand in his way: Tom Brady and 7 days a week, right?
and an offensive line.
Lack
thereof.
Yeah, but what happens? Like, how do you go from, how do you go from there to there
Well,
in 1 week?
Happens every week in the NFL. Look at the Rams.
does.
No,
They win their Super Bowl. They beat the Buccaneers at halftime. The coach is freaking running out the tunnel.
was pissing
With
me off,
McVay.
though. McVay was pissing me
He
off.
just won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
He just won a Super Bowl. Next
On
week,
any
it
given
happens
Sunday,
every
right?
week. The next week, now, you kind of lost that edge. We talked about
Lost that
fighting
edge, sure,
before.
yeah.
When you lose that edge. So, all right, we beat the best team. Now, the next week, they
fall
do
off.
a-
Sure.
the Cardinals, I was trying to say in the beginning of the year too. The Cardinals are very underrated. And I mean, it's showing now because they're the only undefeated team left. But
I don't know who they're playing next week, but watch. They'll get their ass kicked.
no chance.
Kyler-
I think Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray's
They
locked
almost
in.
lost to the Jaguars the week before. They
Yeah,
were
but that's
down in
fine.
the
They
fourth
didn't.
quarter.
A good team always finds a way to win. That's the thing with the Patriots back in the days. They always found a way to win the games that they needed to win.
But who
And
they
the
got?
Patriots could have. They left a win against the Dolphins on the table
Yep.
and a win against the Buccaneers on
Yep.
the table.
And I was going to say that.
And- yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go.
So I was gonna say that I thought Mac Jones looked a lot better because of the Buccaneers' defense. I think their secondary is
Yeah.
so atrocious. Might be one of the worst in the league, if not
They
the
got
worst in the
worse
league.
during the game because
Exactly.
the best one fell out.
And Sherman did not look good at all. Like Mac Jones kept targeting Sherman over and over and over again. And the Patriots do not have great weapons, so that really kept playing in their
Plus,
playing
against
their game.
D-backs, they can't really plant and pivot. The receivers knows where they want to go. The D-back doesn't. I mean, listen, I got my NFL rankings here. We're gonna do our top 7, so you might want to start working on that, Riley.
Can we find out who the Cardinals have next week? I was trying to find out.
Yes,
real
I got
quick.
you. I'll figure it out right now.
All right, now, okay, let's. All right, now,
the Jets, I checked.
Arizona sweeps the Rams. The Rams went from from classy to ashy, and like Jimmy said, in 1 week. That was
The 49ers next week, by the way.
Moss. Book it.
Tyler Murray has some weapons.
Yeah, he's the best weapon in the league, maybe.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Hopkins. I mean,
DeAndre Hopkins.
Dude doesn't drop anything.
AJ Green being a secondary receiver. AJ Green's a Hall of Fame receiver, you would say, right, with his numbers.
Larry Fitzgerald's still there, too.
Yeah.
No, the Saints coming back.
Fitzgerald doesn't have a team.
He might be coming back.
He might be coming back, but he has no team. He's a free agent right now. So he's just floating a boat and doing nothing.
Well, he's from Minnesota.
He's
right?
at the Logan Airport. Like
His father was a reporter for the Minnesota Vikings, I think, right?
Yeah,
He was a ball boy.
Yeah,
Fitzgerald was a ball boy before he became in the NFL.
For Vikings, right?
I believe so, but yeah.
So, yeah.
That was with Randy Moss was there.
Also, don't sleep on the receiver they just drafted this year, Rondell Moore.
Yeah.
He is so good as like a fourth receiver because they even have Christian Kirk, who's really good. They got a lot of weapons on offense with the Chase Edmonds as a running back, James Conner as their backup. Who James Conner a couple years ago was considered like a top 10 running back when he was doing ridiculously good with the Steelers. But that offense is really good. And
I love the coach, man.
Yeah.
I love the coach. He's one of he's one of the disciples of the RPO, right? That's what.
Yeah,
That's how.
because I mean, you have Kyler Murray. It works.
What? Kingsbury.
Texas Tech, maybe.
Yeah.
One of them Texas schools.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which
Yeah, he
one.
took. Yeah. And that's the way the games are going, and they got to lead. 4-0. I'll tell you what.
J.J. Watt.
I don't think.
Don't forget about J.J. Watt.
Chandler
Don't
Jones.
forget about Chandler Jones.
Chandler
But
Jones.
the leadership, J.J. Watt.
And like, the one thing I know, if you are going to play that wild gunslinger type football, your defense has to be able to either turn the opponent over or get sacks. And I think with Chandler Jones, it's a huge pickup for him. KC bounces back. Mahomes. Did anybody watch Patrick Mahomes' post-game press conference?
About his brother, or
No, he said, listen, he goes, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't think he said that. He's like, listen, we were told, watch out for being success. It dulls you. The championship dulls you. The money dulls you. And to be honest, quite honest, we fell victim to that. We were riding around like we were too high on a horse. But trust me, the loss they had the week prior, he said, woke all of us up. And you saw an immediate difference in practice today, and now we all know how special we can be and have it. And to have an athlete tell the truth like that, I was like, I'm feeling you. And there wasn't, I can smell the bullshit come a mile away. It was sincere, it was on point, and I believe him.
Well, he's right about his offense, but his defense, and there was not. I never seen a game like that before. There was no punts in that game.
One punt, and I think in the fourth quarter.
And his defense, Kansas City's defense, Philadelphia is not a great offensive team. They went up and down the field. So I'm not sold on the Chiefs with that defense.
I'm
not saying I'm sold. I'm not saying I'm sold on them. I'm just saying
I'm sold on him and the offense.
That they bounced back because they couldn't afford to lose that game. Okay. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys, okay? And I got a surprise for everybody coming up, but the Dallas Cowboys are a couple of seconds away from being undefeated. And arguably have played the toughest schedule in the NBA. It's the toughest schedule in the NFL. I mean, you're a Cowboys fan. Think about it. You got Tom Brady against the ropes. You can't finish the deal in that game. You go to San Diego, you win a big one.
That was a big win.
Yeah, but then you got the Eagles, and I know the Panthers have a good record. Then you got
But the Panthers are
Giants
undefeated. I hear you.
But they blew those teams out too.
Yeah.
the Chiefs have a tough record too. I mean, a tough schedule too.
Yeah.
They had the Browns to start the thing, who looked really good. Baltimore, then the Chargers, and then now the Eagles. So the Eagles cancel out
Buffalo this week too.
Yeah,
I know
tough.
one thing, that Jerry Jones's kid is doing an unbelievable job as player personnel director because he's got some young studs out there.
There's a few Cowboy fans that I know that don't want Elliott there anymore.
I don't think you can pay if you're going to use him part time. You can't pay him that kind of money.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So you don't pay running backs anymore. That's just one position you shouldn't do.
Which is crazy because growing up, if you said you didn't play running backs, people look at you like you had no heads. But people would. Can you imagine 7-footers taking taking 3-pointers when we grew up watching basketball?
Nah,
Manute Bull hit that one. Yeah.
Well, Zeke has been starting to look really good against. It really started against Philly. He had 17 rushes, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then against Carolina he had 20 rushes, which is a lot, for 143 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, there's no knock on.
So he had a really good game.
Yeah, there's no knock on Zeke. I just think that's one position you don't pay for.
How about the money that he takes up, bro?
No, that's fine. And I was with you in the beginning of the year where to get rid of him because Tony Pollard look really good. But they're starting to use him more, which I like.
I love Zeke. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I think on the right team, I think he'd be great. But if they're going to throw the ball 50 times a game, then you can't be paying Zeke that kind of money.
They gave it to him 20 though on the floor last week.
Well, they ran
even
the ball
throwing the ball how many times?
He only threw, I think, 20. Dak only threw, I think, 22 or 28 passes last game. So that's the formula to win. You want to run the ball.
Yeah, because CeeDee Lamb gave me like freaking 2 points in fantasy. It pissed me off.
Steelers are struggling. Could be the end of the Roethlisberger era.
I called that one.
They're done.
Browns get big win. Their defense surprised me against Cousins, who have been performing well. Minnesota only give up 7 points in a dome on the road.
They've got one of the best defenses in the league.
You know what I mean?
It looks really good.
They got a problem with Baker Mayfield, though. If you watch that game, he had guys wide open that he overthrew in that game, similar to what Hollywood Brown dropping the ball and the
Didn't drop it against Denver.
No, but I mean, Baker Mayfield, I don't know. He might be the reason to hold them back in the long run.
But they got the 2 best running backs in the league. They have the best running back pairing. Like they got Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. You can run either one for 2 quarters, and you're looking really good. I mean, that team really scares me, and the Broncos play them in a couple weeks. So that team could go deep.
They're for real. Yeah, they're for real.
When it matters, they will turn into the Cleveland Browns.
We'll see. A lot of
me.
expectations.
They won their first playoff game last year, so we'll see.
Yeah, and then they were up on KC, and then they threw up
true.
all over themselves.
Yeah.
And the guy fumbled going into the end.
Yeah, that was terrible.
They turned into the Cleveland Browns.
Listen, winning is a process.
It is.
If you don't believe me, ask the second greatest winner of all time, Michael Jordan. He'll tell you about getting beat by the Celtics and the Pistons and the Lakers and waiting 8 years to win. Okay, who are they? New game we got going on right now. Right? Real quick. Who are the Cardinals? Tell me who they are. Stephen A. Smith has them the #1 ranked team in the NFL right now.
I would agree. I hate when people don't give the teams that are undefeated or don't give the teams with the best record not the #1 team. Like, how can you deny? They're 4-0. I get the Chiefs are great, but they have a loss. This team is untouchable.
He didn't even have the Chiefs in the top 5. Stephen A. Smith didn't even have them in the top 5.
Because of that.
He's wild.
Which is bananas.
Who are they, Birdie?
The Cardinals are a very good team. They're going to be a playoff team. I'm not putting them at the top of the league right now. They won a game they should have lost. I mean, I know should have, would have, could have.
You guys got to come up with your top 7.
Should have, would have, could have. But Minnesota doesn't miss a 37-yard field goal. They're 3-1. I like the Cardinals. They're a good team, but I'm not putting them at the top of the league yet.
With candy and nuts, and every day be Christmas.
They're not #1. They're not #1 yet.
I don't.
I got to see.
They're Super Bowl hopeful. That's where I would put them.
Okay, that's
Super Bowl hopeful, not a contender.
What do you got?
Listen, these power rankings remind me of like 1999 college football rankings. They don't have a loss, so they shoot up to the #1 team in the country. It's crazy. You put the Chiefs against the Cardinals in a Super Bowl right now.
They
They
shit out of the Rams, who smacked the shit
out of Tampa
Bay.
Exactly.
And
That's why
they caught the Rams at a perfect time.
Perfect spot.
At a perfect time. Okay.
We talk about survivor.
I'm not saying they're not good, but they're not the best team in the
Survivor
NFL.
success. Look at me in the micro and surviving success in the macro. Right. It's very important.
They lose to the
But they're a
49ers
hungry
this
team.
week. They'll be out of the top
They're a
5.
hungry
Stephen A.
team.
Smith's top 5 power rankings.
The Rams. Who are the Rams? Tell me where they are. They got Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're my Super Bowl pick, but they're Super Bowl contenders. I would say not hopefuls, but they want to be.
So what
they should be
happens in
there.
Arizona?
That's a division game. We always talk about how bad division games
It's
can
not
be.
a Tom Brady letdown game.
No, it could be. I'm just saying that division games happen. Like the Dolphins and the Patriots, or the Jets and the Patriots. The Jets beat the Patriots once in a while when Brady was in his prime, and
yeah,
it happens. It's division games. So I think those are 2 of the best teams in the league, and it was a division game, so anyone could win.
The Rams are the most balanced team. If you talked about teams with balance, remember last night?
I know the Chargers are pretty balanced.
I was going to say in the NFC. I wasn't going to the AFC, but I still like the Rams in the NFC.
For me, Rams are probably the best team in the league right now. They do it all.
I think that they have the most impact players on both sides of the football.
Having said that, though, when I talk about Cleveland Browns turning into Cleveland Browns, Matt Stafford could also turn into Matt Stafford.
But Matt Stafford is so underrated. Like, he played for the Lions for that long.
75 games against teams with winning records at the end of the year. He won 7 of them.
And he played for the Lions, the worst organization in NFL history, who killed 2 of the best players to ever play in their position. Barry Sanders is arguably the best player to play in his position, retired early. Calvin Johnson is arguably a top 5 receiver of all time, retired early.
Yeah,
the Lions are terrible.
I mean, Matt Stafford's the first ballot Hall of Famer.
He should be a Hall of Famer, yes. His numbers are ridiculous on the Lions.
Yeah.
His
First ballot, Birdie.
Based on his numbers, I would say yes.
All right. Who are the Kansas City Chiefs? Who are they?
Super Bowl hopeful.
They are dangerous.
Yes, people are overlooking them.
See them in the first round.
People are overlooking them.
As much as I hate them,
me too.
They're coming out of the AFC if they stay healthy on offense. One Hill or Kelsey injury, they got nobody else.
They
got nobody else.
Hill, they got to get the ball to Hill more. He's the engine. He's
one hit a monster game.
He's the one who
how do you not
scares the
cover
shit
that
out of people.
How does he get that wide open all the time?
Fucking
I
cover.
don't understand.
He's too small.
The
He's too
Patriots
fast.
do it. The Patriots do it.
You see that motherfucker doing black flips, triple fucking Lindy's.
But there we are, right there. We're talking about Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. All he does is, all right, this is your weapon. He's not touching the ball. Make everybody else do it. That's how the Patriots do it. Not every team has Bill Belichick in his mind there, but this week he did go off.
Take away. Has anybody seen Godwin? Because I think he's in a mission protection program.
No, Godwin's been pretty good this season. Last week,
get on the phone with Edelman.
No, he's still under contract with the Patriots. I don't think he could if he wanted to. Is he retired? Yeah.
I know we've heard this before. And
I'm not doing that anymore. They get enough of our guys. That's it. If they do that again, I won't even.
I think they need him.
He's had a million chances, but Kansas City did just sign Josh Gordon. So, and I know we've heard it. He's been in and out of the league, but he was and you put him with Mahomes and he gets his head on straight. Could be another weapon for them.
You say, well, I mean, the way we look at Weed now is completely different, but I think he needed to be high or something like that. Maybe that'll help him.
I think it's a fucking tragedy that we put people in jail as a country for the last 20 years and we knew better, and that we're testing professional athletes for marijuana. So
I think that's done now, though.
Surely has is it done?
I think it's done now.
Across the board?
I think that was part of that last agreement.
All right, the Bills. Who are the Bills? Bills Mafia.
They're the best team.
Best
team in the AFC right now. Balance all the way across. Offensive line, defense,
You trust the quarterback to win a big game in the fourth quarter for you?
Well, that's
like you
said about Michael Jordan. That's the hurdle he has. He's at the AFC Championship last year.
No, he's on progress.
Got to beat Mahomes. Sure. He knows where the benchmark is. The benchmark's Mahomes. And they're playing him this week, so we'll see what happens this week.
They had what? Houston, Dolphins, Pittsburgh, who they lost to, and who am I missing? Who's the other one? So we want to talk about strength of schedule.
They beat the Redskins.
Let's get the Redskins.
So let's find out this week.
In all of those games, they've had 3 out of 4 games
that's
at
why
home.
It's great that they're playing Kansas City.
But that's fine because you can only play who people put on your schedule. There was no draft of all right. I want to play this guy. I want to play this guy. I want to play this guy. I want to play that guy.
You can only play what's in front of you. But we're analysts here, and we can find a fucking million ways to use the fucking.
You will find out this week. What they do at Kansas City couldn't be a better game. We'll find out this week.
You like the Bills? Tell the world you like the Bills, Bert.
I love the Bills too.
I like the Bills because they're a well-balanced team. I won't bet that game because I'm not betting against Mahomes.
You were teasing them up to 8.5, and you were betting on
it. Yeah, 8.5 at Kansas City. I'm not going to take them less than a field goal with Mahomes in Kansas City.
They had a decent lead in that playoff game last year, didn't they? Have a 10-point lead?
10-0.
Yeah, and then they turned into the Buffalo Bills.
Who are the Baltimore Ravens? Who are they?
That's a dangerous team. That's an absolutely dangerous team. I don't want to see
them in the first round.
Exactly. You don't want to see them anytime in the playoffs.
Jackson.
I'll get into them. Don't worry.
What?
I'll get into them. They're in my rankings.
They're
in my
dangerous
rankings
because they've been riddled with injuries and they're still winning with all the players that they've had on the injured list. A lot of injuries.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Playoff team, they're not going to contend for anything.
Do you think Jackson fails them at the end of the day again?
I don't even know if I want to put them on. I don't want to put that on him for this year. I mean, when they get down, they can't really come back. Yeah. Although they did it the other against Kansas City, so that was decent to see out of them. But I think ultimately the injuries add up. I don't think they're going to make playoffs. But that's it.
Talk about that. You know how I was a teenage fella Like, I was a degenerate gambler. That would be my episode. Ravens, KC. Fucking drunk with Birdie at the fucking Gold Spot in Twin Rivers.
Soon to be Foxwoods when they open their sports book.
I'm talking to this chick from Boston. I can't find Birdie.
Did you have a good night? Did you have a good night?
I was gonna say, sounds like fun.
Listen, let me tell you something. I discovered live betting, and I learned a bad lesson. But I love it. I
want to talk about strength of schedule? I mean, that's a massive win. You beat the team who you couldn't beat 3 years in a row. They beat the team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Like, that's a huge win to get over. So that's why I like them a lot.
Power rankings. Are you ready for mine?
Yep.
Usually I go last, but I'm so proud I'm going to go first. At number 7, I have Kansas City because of Mahomes and their offensive capabilities. At number 6, it kills me, but I got Tampa because they got serious problems.
Wow.
Serious problem in the defensive side of the ball, but just like you're not worried about seeing Jackson in the playoffs, or you're not worried about Jackson, you don't want to see Tom Brady in the first round of the playoffs. More than you don't want to see anybody.
Not if you're the Titans.
You don't want to see him in any round.
You're not going to see him. He's going to win the division.
Not if you're the Titans. You want to see him.
That's okay.
Stop. Stop.
All right, we got. So I got them at 6. I got Tampa at 6. I got the Rams at 5 because of their balance in their play. I got the Chargers at 4 because of their balance. I got the Bills at 3. Okay. But I got Arizona at 2 because of their record, and the number 1 team in the power rankings. I never thought I'd say it. How about them Cowboys?
You've been spending
Hurricanes number 1 power ranking, and I'm going to tell you why right now.
Too much time at Mesa.
I'm going to tell you why now, Mesa. I'm tired. I'm not even talking to Pete. All right, number 1. I'm going to tell you why right now. I love it. I'm going to meet with Danny tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah, you're trying to smooth them.
They're already our sponsor. Yeah. I'm telling you something right now. I'm telling you why right now. Because they are seconds away from being undefeated. They play at Tampa, at San Diego, 2 teams in my top 5. Okay? They beat an undefeated Panthers team, and they beat a division rival handily. Now, my logic is sound.
To be fair, you had Tampa at 6, I believe.
No. I got
Somebody checked out water you've been drinking. Somebody checked out water.
What? No, all right, so you can understand my logic, right? Let me repeat it. The Cowboys are number 1 in my power rankings because of this. They're seconds from being undefeated. Seconds from beating Tampa after Brady got his seven.
Like you told me.
What happened
to that? What happened to that? That wasn't all that long ago.
Listen, nobody interrupts Hulk Hogan during his, what do they call it?
The promo.
Here's my promo. The reason why them boys got my number 1 ranking, I'm going to tell you why, okay? And argue with the logic, I dare you.
I'll argue with it.
They lose in seconds to the Cowboys. They bounce back. They beat the San Diego Chargers. Well, hold on. The Cowboys lose to Tampa.
Yeah, they lost to Tampa. Then
I got to cut this again. Hold on.
They beat the Chargers.
How about them Cowboys? Number 1 in my power rankings because they came this close to beating Tampa late. They outplayed Tampa, but they didn't have Tom Brady. They left him too much time. Huge mistake. They take the L there. They come back and bounce back against the Chargers. Okay? So in the first two games, they played 2 of the top 5 teams in the NFL, in my opinion. They come back, okay? They thrash Philadelphia on Monday Night Football on our podcast, and then they come back and they knock off an undefeated, well-coached Carolina Panthers team.
Without McCaffrey, without J.C. Horn.
And they beat them handily, and they get Zeke the Freak going with Dak. Believe me when I tell you that right now. That's my logic. Argue with it.
Wow.
Coaching.
I'll give you that.
McCarthy at halftime, he that's 13-7, and he goes for 2 and doesn't get it.
I think it's his stuff.
Against San Diego, right? There was that play. He didn't call a timeout at the end of the game or whatever it was. Listen.
Hey, the Cowboys won with Barry Switzer.
I like the Cowboys. They're in my top 5. There's no doubt about it. But
not number 1.
They will turn into the Cowboys, too.
Let's hear it. 7-1.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go. What do you got?
We're doing 7? I need a cheat sheet. I wasn't ready for all this.
I'm ready.
Rowdy Riley, go. Give it to me, Rowdy.
All right, so at 7, I have the Bucks.
Okay.
I think their offense is I think their offense is definitely there. I love their weapons. Obviously, Brady.
I think
love
Mike
him.
Evans is overrated.
No, I love them both. I love their weapons. I think their defense is very overrated. I think that's where they're overrated is their defense. I have the Ravens at 6. I could have put them higher, but there's a lot of good teams right now. I really love Lamar. I mean, I watched that game against the Broncos. It hurt to watch, but they look great. The Packers at 5, who, again, they had that one loss. Everybody's like, Rodgers doesn't look great. And they looked like everything's clicking. Devontae Adams looks great. Randall Cobb is starting to come into the team. That defense is holding people down. Then at 4, I have the Chiefs. I don't want to put the Chiefs on there, but I have to. I mean, you have the biggest weapon in football and Mahomes. Your offense is stacked. I mean, the defense is not that good.
Great coaching.
Yes, exactly. Great coaching. The defense is not that good, but they can score points, so they can keep up with you. Yeah. And then at 3, I have the Bills. I mean, they look phenomenal.
Bills at 3.
After that week,
Bills Mafia.
Same thing with the Packers. After that week 1 loss, it's just all uphill from there. I know it's bad scheduling, but their offense looks great. Their defense looks great. They were there last year in the AFC Championship game. Every year they're taking a step up. They should take a step up going off of like history. They should go to the Super Bowl this year. It might not happen, but we'll see.
History of the Bills.
I know. Trust me, because I make fun of my dad's friend all the time. At 2, I have the Rams. I want to put them at 1, but I can't because at 1 I have the Cardinals. I mean, the team's undefeated. I'm not going to take them off the top spot until they're undefeated.
So you left the Cowboys out of your top 7?
I did because I think their defense is
questionable.
It's very hot right now, but if it doesn't stay hot, then they could be very questionable. And their coaching is what really gets me. I don't like McCarthy at all. I just think that could come into the play. I think he got bailed out by Rodgers. I thought they got bailed out by Aaron Rodgers in that one Super Bowl run. He's cost Rodgers a few Super Bowls by some bad play calling a lot of times. Yeah, but I don't like him. I don't like him. And I left out the Chargers as well because I also think they're a tad bit overrated. I thought they had Herbert is great. Keenan Allen's great. Mike Williams, who's been one of the biggest weapons all season, 1 catch for like 10 yards last week, and he caught like 5 touchdowns in 3 weeks. So I mean, I feel like
Herbert missed them on that wide open.
They have, but I just feel like again their defense also.
I love their coach. I love that young kid.
He is, but their safety Derwin James. Their safety Derwin James is amazing.
He always gets hurt.
Always gets hurt. Joey Bosa always gets hurt.
Can you imagine walking to an NFL locker room like that? He looks like
he's played.
He looks like he walked off the set of Leave It to Beaver.
He played college football somewhere.
Anything crazy about my record?
The fact that you don't have Dallas in the top 7, I think is but whatever. I'll deal with it. I got it.
Who do you bump out?
I would bump out. I mean, I have everybody bump. I have the Cowboys as number 1.
Bump the Chargers.
Yeah, who would you bump out of mine? Is what I'm saying for the Cowboys. I have the Cardinals, Rams, Bills,
Ravens,
Chiefs, Packers, Ravens, Bucks.
Ravens.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I just think that they're one-dimensional offensively. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. God. Brady, what do you got?
So you're just doing this based on 4 weeks so far, right?
Yeah, power rankings.
It should be where you think they're going to be at the end of the year.
No,
that's not.
He's going by power rankings right now.
He's going by right.
By the end of the year, it would have changed.
Company.
Yeah. So I'll put
NCAA
Dallas in
football.
Ain't real.
NCAA football.
Hey.
I'll put Dallas in at 7. And I know you're going to think I'm nuts because I'm putting Arizona all the way down to 6, and even though they're 4-0, but 4-0 is 4-0. I'm never betting against Aaron Rodgers, and what I've seen for 3 weeks, he's got to be in this. There's no way. Same thing with Mahomes, as bad as the defense is.
How the fuck did I leave Aaron Rodgers out of mine?
Come on.
That's stupid.
Let's be real. Tom Brady in Tampa, listen, you can't. I'm surprised you locked them down. Missed Gronk, didn't play. Jason Pierre-Paul didn't play.
Yeah.
The secondary, starter in the secondary was injured. Come out of the game. Come on.
Imagine what he would have did. Imagine what he would have did to that offensive line.
Gronk is so. I'm sorry. Gronk looks great.
You can't depend on him. But you can't
exactly. He looks great.
But he got broken ribs.
I know, but he looks great. But people are talking about like he's this monster weapon. He caught 3.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying it with 2 hands.
No, not.
My thing is you can't depend on him to be on the field.
Listen,
he gets hurt all the time.
What about
just like you said about James?
He gets so much attention. He held on to that ball when he's got broken ribs.
Yeah, that's great. I'm saying I don't think
you know he had to be really hurt to miss this one.
Yeah, but it's not what Gronk does as far as catches. It's the defense that he has to play off him. Now without Gronk there,
fine.
Let's not forget he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league too.
Bingo.
Since when were you anti-Gronk?
No.
Even last year,
Gronk is the greatest tight end of all time. Gronk is the greatest tight end of all time. But there's a time when you are not the player you once were, and I think his stats look great, right? He has like 4 or 5 touchdowns in the last few weeks, which is great. But he has like 3 catches for like 2 touchdowns. He's doing what you need him to do. But I don't think just because they miss Gronk doesn't mean it's this.
He was running away from guys against the Cowboys.
Let me ask you something though. All right, because is he the same player as he was, 5 years ago?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I think he's more athletic now. So I'm going to say yes.
He's not as big.
I don't know.
He's definitely trimmed down.
I'm going to say he's more athletic now. His last 3 years, watch him run with a hitch and being banged up in New England on that thing. I think the TB12 thing has energized him too. I think he's taking better care of himself. I think he's leaner. I saw him run away from guys in the Super Bowl, and I haven't seen him do that in a long time.
Well, that's the point I was going to make. Okay,
He's always running over guys.
Because when you need it,
it's there.
who's Brady going to look at first? Right. It's going to be Gronk, and he's
security blanket.
Exactly. So I don't think he's the same player, but he's going to be there when you need him.
So you're going to leave Gronk undouble teamed in the red zone? Where Brady,
that's where the ball's going.
All right. So now you got other guys getting open. It works in that way. It's a rhythmic.
It opens up the field for other guys.
Let's go.
Sorry, Birdie.
This is week 4.
So I got Buffalo. I got Buffalo as the best team right now in the AFC as of week 4, and then I got the Rams, even though they lost. Still best team in the NFC. Yeah.
I wanted to do the same, but I just couldn't. He said Cowboys at 7.
I'm saying by right now, week 4. It changes week to week.
I know. I wanted to do the Rams, but yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy?
All right, we're starting at 7.
Yeah.
See, I had it down here. I thought this was going to be like at the end because if you can see right here, I got the Patriots on mine. Because at the end of the year,
Jesus Christ.
At the end of the year,
I'll take that bet right now. They won't even make the playoffs. I'll take that bet right now.
This team is going to get that's a bold one at 1-3. But listen,
I said that at the beginning of the season.
But you are not going to want to play this team in week 15, 16,
I will
17.
I will definitely want to play that team
when they figure things out because the defense is real. They're going to get Gilmore back. Okay, Mac Jones is going to get better if they can block for the kid. Then they're going to figure it out.
But isn't every other team's looking to get somebody back too? Isn't that possible?
Yes.
Yeah, but this one he's on PUP, so that's a little different for me, right? It's a little different in that one.
What do you got?
So number 7, I'll have the Arizona Cardinals. I just gotta see more. I gotta see more consistency.
I got you.
Not yet.
But again,
Not yet.
Number 6, I have the Green Bay Packers. Okay, after week 1 we did these power rankings, and they're probably at the bottom. Rodgers is out, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But now week 4, because these things change every week. Number 5, I got Buffalo, strength of schedule. They could move up to number 1. They win in Kansas City this week. How about that?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Show me something. Show me something.
Big game for that. I'm going to say biggest regular season game in Bills history.
Show me something. And I agree with that. Number 4, I got the Cowboys. Again, want to see a little bit more, but there's the talent is there.
Yeah.
And Parsons is definitely fixing that defense, or definitely making that defense a lot better.
Dan Quinn.
Number 3, Dan Quinn too on top of that. Yep. Number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't want to nobody wants to play against that team. Yeah. So that's just a team you never want to see. Yeah. Number 2, I got Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Again, they lost against the Rams. The Rams beat them last year. I think that defense is the one defense that we talked about, give that, give that offense problems, and they can take advantage of their lack of secondary on defense.
Yeah, no, it's a bad matchup for Tampa.
It's a bad matchup. And number 1, because of that, I have the Los Angeles Rams as number 1.
There you go.
He says Patriots will finish 10-7. That's what Tony Pedro said.
That's my guy, dude.
10-7.
Tony Pedro.
Tony, bring some coffee milk, you motherfucker.
That's my man, Tony Pedro.
10-7. You know what that means? That means they have to go what?
Tony, bring me some coffee milk.
Yeah. That ain't happening. I'll take that bet right now. How much you want to do on that one? 10-7.
Hey, if we were doing this,
you like chocolate milk? You like a coffee milk? That's Pedro's Dairy. That's my man Tony.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's get him to get a bet for the Zebra Food Bar.
Sunset Hill.
I already like him.
Yeah.
I never even met the guy.
Tony, my man. He was on our podcast. He was on our podcast.
Hey, week 4 power rankings in 2001, the Patriots were 1-3 with a Tom Brady at quarterback, and nobody would have had him in there.
Riley.
I got a question for all of you, but then I'll let you go.
And then I've got one question.
Is it right that the San Diego Chargers were subjected to the fucking Raiders completely?
Yeah, they fucking left Los Angeles. That's ridiculous.
And pulled it. That was a fucking joke.
I love it.
No, it's
I love
not.
it.
No, it's not. They left Los Angeles. I mean, I'm sorry.
San Diego.
The Los Angeles Raiders. The fans aren't going to leave just because they moved a couple miles over.
They were from Oakland.
But they were in Los Angeles.
But listen, it's not about LA. It's a cultural thing. I lived on the West Coast for 4 years. The Mexicans love the Raiders. Look at how they dress. They all got Raiders gear, silver, black.
That Raiders black jacket back in the 90s, that was the one to have. That was the one. That was the one to have, yeah.
Raiders. They're infamous. They're notorious.
The black starter jacket.
They fit that South Coast edge lifestyle perfectly. The Raiders are the Raiders. The Raiders, when it comes to the Mexican market, it's the Cowboys first, and then the Raiders second, and then they don't give a fuck about anybody else. Okay, but there's a problem there, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. They're not going anywhere because they just split $6 billion on an arena.
Sci-Fi Stadium, SoFi.
So
I think everybody saw this coming. You had to see this coming. San Diego moving up.
They're going to get buried, though, because the Rams at least have a little fan base there. But what happens is when they play the Cowboys or they play the Steelers or they play the Packers or the Bears, teams that travel well.
Even last year when they played the Patriots.
That's going to be their vacation, or the Patriots. That's going to be their vacation.
But you can neutralize it one way, you know how? Just like they did last night. Win the game.
There you go.
Shut their mouths, win the game. Simple as that.
And it's
right?
not bad for them.
No.
That's a huge disadvantage.
They moved there twice, right? The Rams were there. I know they were there before, but when they both moved there.
The guy, Victor Kaya, bought the Rams to St. Louis. He tried to buy the Patriots.
Hated that move at the time.
The Patriots could be the Rams. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That was
hated that move at the time to Los Angeles, and you know what? You reap what you sow. They wanted to go there just to get the money and be in the limelight and all that stuff. Yeah. They're going to be the number 2 team there.
I think the NFL forced them to go too. I think the NFL wanted 2 teams in LA.
Who was the commissioner back at the time? I don't think it was Goodell.
But the Raider fans, man. How are these Raider fans
Pete
getting with
Rozelle.
fucking chainsaws around their neck and fucking and lead pipes and fucking?
Because they're dumbasses.
They're the Raiders are the team of the bad boys, you know.
They're a Vegas team now. Coming from Vegas, Vegas is an insane city. So
listen to me. Hide the women and children on the Saturday morning Southwest flight from Oakland and San Francisco into Las Vegas from Southwest.
Yeah.
$99, bar open at 9 o'clock. The strip will never be the same.
So I got a couple for Riley real quick. Riley, you're the fantasy guy, so I need a fantasy stud for this week.
Ooh.
For my fantasy. Give me a name.
Ooh, let me check this.
I'll give you a few minutes. Think about it.
Austin Eckler has been doing
last night though.
No, I know, but I'm saying Austin Eckler has been doing a really good job for the last few weeks. So like against Dallas, he had 20 points, which was 54 rushing yards, 61 rushing. Yeah, and then he had 33 points last night, and then 22 before that. But he's playing the Browns this week, so I wouldn't touch him. I like Cooper Kupp this week because they're playing the Seahawks.
Bounce back game.
So that's gonna bounce back game, and it's gonna be it's a division game, so it's gonna be a lot of scoring with those two. Same thing with Stafford. The good thing about fantasy is when you pair 2 players together, they call it a stack. So like a Cooper Kupp and exactly. You'll get double the points for the touchdown. So a Stafford and Cooper Kupp stack would be really good against the Seahawks, and that's going to cost you a good amount of points if you're playing the DFS stuff on FanDuel.
Yep.
But then also Kareem Hunt might be a little cheaper as well because he's the backup running back, but he's been doing
a lot of cash.
He's been doing a lot of work when Nick Chubb is not playing as a lot. And then Tyler Boyd as well. He's been getting a lot of catches from Joe Burrow.
I want some of that action with you, Birdie. I want to put some money on that.
No, this is just like a couple of
a lot of money. I like that. I got $2 on it. Or $2.
Also, Kenny Galladay. That's another one because there's a lot of receivers for the Giants. Sterling Shepard and who's the other one? I'm missing one. There's 2 starting receivers for the Giants who are not playing. So Galladay's like the only weapon.
What I want you to do is
Brandon Bouchard.
Okay,
man, what's up?
Here's what we want you to do for Sunday. This Sunday, I want you to fill out a fantasy lineup. And text it to him, and then
he's right.
Saturday, and then we'll go with it. We'll play the $1 million thing.
Patriots offensive line.
Sounds good.
All right, one last question though. Yes. APB All Parts Bulletin Witness Protection Program.
Who's this?
Chase Young of the Redskins. What is going on with this guy? 4 tackles, 0 sacks.
I know.
What is going on with this guy?
There's levels that says he's getting double teamed. They're game planning against him now.
He's never recovered from that trash talking he was doing to Brady last year. He never recovered.
Pretty much.
It's Brady shut it down.
Like he says, like you got to learn, like at some point when you're a defensive lineman, like how to beat the double teams. Like Von Miller, he's one of the best of all time, like in his generation, and he's still getting sacks. Like right now, Von Miller was.
Are you a Broncos fan?
Yes, for sure.
And I've never met you. but I've heard you say Broncos a couple times. I was like,
He's
you
a
keep
diehard
bringing it
Bronco
up.
fan.
But I'm
You're
not
not wrong with that Von Miller
I'm saying Von Miller because since he's came into the league since 2011, he has the most sacks out of anybody in the league. And he has the most sacks out of any active player. And obviously everybody knows his name, so he's going to get double teamed. But at that point, he's 11 years into the season, into his career. He learns how to beat those double teams. Chase Young is only 2 years into his career, so he's not going to learn.
But he was wrecking games at the end of last year, and it's like he just
know.
disappeared now. So I don't know. I hope he gets something's not up with him.
Aaron Donald gets triple teamed sometimes. If you watch it, there'll be literally 3 offensive linemen on Aaron Donald at one time, and he still gets pressures onto quarterbacks. Chase Young is a phenomenal player. It's still going to take him time, but that defense has been struggling, and they're one of the best.
I tell you what, it's been a good first quarter of the regular season. Guys, we can talk all fucking night. We've been talking for 3 hours, but you know something? It's time to come for you, Bucky Dent. It's the Bucky Dent revenge game, Red Sox Yankees. Go Sox!
Let's say a prayer.